So what is the Golden Tap system? This is your organic lead nurture strategy. It fits into your overall marketing program running alongside your paid advertising and email funnel, which we are going to be working on soon if you're working through my program. But first, we need to get this organic opportunity underway so that we can actually test how your audience responds to all this messaging work we have been doing. This is not solely a social media strategy. You should also apply it to your email marketing. And I recommend it because it positions you as an expert, not by telling people that you are an expert, but actually by demonstrating your expertise. So you don't have to do any convincing or proving. You can just show people your expertise. There's this maxim in marketing: show, don't tell. We're going to just demonstrate how good you are at your work. And by doing this is how we create inbound leads. Now, a quick definition. Inbound leads, yes, that does mean people jumping into your inbox, but also in this context, it means people raising their hands or showing buying behavior. That also qualifies as an inbound lead, even if you are the one who moves the conversation forward in the DMs, for example. So what do I mean by buying behavior? I mean looking at your email CRM and seeing who is clicking your links, who is opening your emails every single time, who is responding to relevant posts on social media. Even if they're not directly in your DMs, they are indicating buying behavior, which qualifies them as an inbound lead. Inbound leads is not limited to random people popping up in your DMs, even though we love those people dearly. I also recommend this strategy because it gives a rhythm and a rationale to your content creation, so you're not confused about what needs to be said or in what order or when. And the other wonderful thing about it is it allows you to analyze your marketing and see what does and doesn't work. And when we see what doesn't work, it means we can therefore improve it. So in other words, it's an efficient strategy. It's an efficient strategy. I have a very rich and full life, and I'm sure you do too. And so I wanted to find a way to create the largest number possible of qualified leads from the smallest amount of social media content. Now, of course, there is a payoff. Of course, I could grow my audience faster if I worked harder at my marketing, but ultimately, I don't want to. I'm very happy with the rate of business growth, especially when I measure it against the small amount of time I spend creating content for social media. So it is efficient, and ultimately it is designed so that you will be able to hand off, delegate, automate, systematize 90% of what is involved in the strategy, so that for you personally, your time on social media or your time spent on marketing is creating the content you were put here for, fulfilling your life's work, creating a body of work, developing your expertise, and cementing your place in the marketplace, your position in the marketplace, and making sales. And eventually you can delegate that too. So what does it look like when we get the golden tap flowing? How do we measure success? Where do we see the magic? Okay, so here's some indicators. One, you start to see more conversations with hot leads happening in your DMs. Some of them, as I say, will be spontaneous. Other ones you will lead, but every week you will see new conversations being added to your CRM. Two, you will start to experience more energy and inspiration around your organic marketing, and also more engagement, more reach, more conversations, seeing more buying behaviors. Not all of these are vanity metrics. There are metrics that matter around your social media content, your social media marketing. The most crucial one, obviously, being the number of conversations you have and the number of sales you make. And also feeling your personal energy and inspiration increase which always follows another level of clarity about your work and your expertise and your mission. So how do we do all this? This is all laid out in the workbook, but the foundational piece, the centerpiece of the golden tap, the core of the pipe, if you like, is one chunky, valuable, meaty, potentially life-changing piece of content that you will create regularly and consistently, but at a rhythm that suits you. So I recommend at least once a month, ideally twice a month, and if you can, once a week. Once you get into the swing of it, you will be surprised how easily this content comes through you. And the purpose of this is to, as I say, to demonstrate your expertise. You could be offering a change in perspective with a thought piece, or it could be a class on a practical element of something that you teach, or it could be sharing a particular energy tool in a way that is kind of unique to do. So think of this as the work that you have been born to. If you ever imagined yourself writing a book, or giving a keynote speech, this is where you begin. This is where you start to build out your body of work as a professional and expert in your field. So yes, I'm talking about articles, video classes, podcast episodes, however you like to create. Canva graphics, PDFs, written lessons, whatever lights you up and is easy for you, choose that as your next thing to publish. After this thought leadership piece of content is created, the focus of your social media marketing becomes very, very clear. Yes, it becomes to, your objective is to make sure that as many people as you can receive this wisdom and insight from the thought leadership you have created. You want to articulate as clearly and as often as possible how and why people should view it, how and why they should consume it. Ostensibly, to get as many people as possible to watch it. And of course, we want them to receive that knowledge, receive that perspective shift, and experience a mini transformation just from reading or watching the thing you created. But actually, we want to get those people into conversation with you and, of course, move those conversations towards a sale, which is, of course, the purpose of any marketing strategy. So what happens next? Go through the teachings on the Golden Tap strategy. I recommend that you dedicate your next 30 to 45 days to visibility, to reestablishing your new voice. Follow the Golden Tap strategy as it is laid out in your workbook as best as you can, understanding that it will feel wobbly at first, but it is absolutely worth the growing pains because, again, this is designed to be endlessly repeatable, and eventually so many parts of this process can be automated or delegated so that your only input is sales conversations and deepening into your own practice and leadership. The lessons on Thinkific will give you an overview and about a week's worth of content for you to use while you are creating your first chunky thought leadership piece. And yes, I invite you to dedicate the next 4 to 6 weeks to finding out as much as you can about what your audience responds to. Our goal is to help people feel the most important emotional state, the emotional condition for buying, which is they want to feel confident that you can help them. And I think you can see how over time, the cumulative effect of this type of content and this strategy supporting it will really help people to feel more confident that you can help them, which ultimately is what is going to encourage them to part with their money. Before you do this work, it's definitely worth reviewing the previous messaging work you have done on hot leads and your uncommon method and your competitor analysis. This is all valuable content. There's so much value in there that you can pull out and use for supporting content during this period of visibility. There are lots of examples in the workbook. And before I go, add to your hypersigil. This work can and will be delegated, automated, systematized with all the content pulled from your one thought leadership piece, which you can ultimately publish monthly or even less frequently than that. So your precise marketing actions will be vastly diminished. So write about that future reality now in your hypersigil and who you will be seeking to support you with this. And then just to remind you of your next steps, after spending this time on your organic process, we're going to do your work on setting up your strong dose funnel, which you can send lots of traffic to with ads. But we need the wisdom of this experience that we're gaining over the next few weeks to take your new message to the world. So remember, the goal of this strategy is for anyone in your audience to be able to get to know you and your method very quickly, but in a way that does not drain your creativity and energy with a vast amount of content. The Golden Tap is powered by one central piece of content per month. And then the task of social media is very simply to promote your thought leadership. This is how you can make sales even when you're not actively promoting something. The Golden Tap is powered by one central piece of content per month. And then the rest of your social media is very simple. It is to promote your thought leadership, to send people to read or watch or view this thing that you created that you're proud of, and to engage them in conversation and qualify them as whether they are potential sales or not. If you haven't had your Mercury messaging call with me, go and complete that preparatory work and book your messaging intensive so that you can start marketing with this exciting new look for your brand. So remember, the goal of this strategy is for anyone in your audience to be able to get to know you and your method very quickly, but in a way that does not drain your creativity and energy by requiring a huge amount of content. The Golden Tap is powered by one central piece per month, and then the task of your social media is very simple. It is to promote your own thought leadership, to send people to read or watch or consume this thing you have created that you're proud of. This is how you create sales. This is how you make sales and get inbound leads, even when you are not actively promoting a particular offer or service. If you haven't yet had your Mercury messaging call with me, go and complete that preparatory work and book your messaging intensive so that you can get started introducing this exciting new look for your brand to the world.